Microphone's on. So welcome to the Sacramento-Yolo Port District Commission meeting. This evening, Commissioner Cabal and Ledesma are not with us, but we do have the pleasure of Commissioner Christoph joining us. So if you'd lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. First item is the presentations by public on matters that are not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the commission. Oh, I'm sorry. We did meet in closed session. Let's see.
Yes. Port Commission met in closed session to confer with its real property negotiators concerning property identified in the staff report. No action was taken.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. How am I doing? Let's see. So items, general administration functions, presentations on matters not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the commission. I have one item to speak. Is that right, Mr. Sabin?
Yes.
All right. You can come on up.
Thank you. Let's see. So be chairman, vice chairman, and commissioners. My name is Mark Sabin. I'm the new communications officer for Lake Washington Sailing Club. We have our facilities at your port. On April 30th of this year, there's an open house. According to our bylaws, we're to promote the sport of small boat sailing and small sailboat racing. Per our agreement with you, we provide sailing instruction to the City of West Sacramento Parks and Recreation. We feel that our outreach should be increased in the City of West Sacramento in this area of Yolo County, or all of Yolo County. That's why I'm here to help promote our open house on April 30th. Your port and its various activities are a hidden gem in this area. The sailing is the best in the region, with steady afternoon winds up from the Delta. Our club was founded in 1933, and it's the oldest in Northern California, except for some clubs in the Bay Area, but we have fresh water. I'm doing what I can to get this promoted. It should turn out okay. You, your families, and friends are invited to our open house on April 30th. Through the website, you can learn about the club, our activities, or contact any of the board members or myself as communication officer. I actually distributed a flyer. There's several. Oh, good, very good. And I will report afterwards and let you know how it all went. Thank you for your support.
Great. Any questions? No? Oh, well, thank you very much. We will make sure to pass the flyer along to the port director, and I'm sure you can share it with the city staff to make sure that the word gets out.
Okay. Well, I've contacted some people already. But,
Great.
So thank you.
All righty. Thank you for coming. All right. Next item is consideration of license agreement with Neighbors Fair Incorporated for a radio station antenna installation at the North Terminal. Mr. Toft.
Right. We have this item on consent tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Jim Brewer is here with the West Sacramento Neighbors Fair as well. But basically, it would be a no-cost license to install a low-powered FM antenna on top of one of our silo facilities. They have attained their FCC license and identified this location as the ideal location for them. It really wouldn't impact port operations. We could accommodate it rather easily. So we put it on consent tonight as a
I'll move consent.
All right.
I have a question.
Mr. Christoph.
Okay.
There is a proposal before the planning commission to put a cell tower on some port facility. I don't know if it's a silo, I don't know if it's whatever it is. This wouldn't interfere with that either, right?
No, it wouldn't. Well, first of all, they'd have to demonstrate, that's one of the requirements of the license, that they wouldn't interfere with any of our commercial customers. We have AT&T and Clearwire, and we have Yolo County Emergency Communications already up there. We have been approached by Verizon through Epic Wireless, who were directed by the Planning Commission to the port. So I've toured them, showed them facilities. I believe they have ruled out the port and have moved on.
They've ruled out the port?
Yeah, it's,
So, but if they ruled out the port, does that mean they're going to want to put a cell tower at the end of Park Boulevard?
well, they were working with NorCal Beverage on their property, I know, but they were also directed, I believe, to talk to Farmers Rice across the street from the port, and so I was told they need to be closer to Business 80 and that the port was a little too far away. So they're exploring their site alternatives.
Business 80 is not that far.
We'd love to have them, and they would not conflict with the West Sacramento antenna installation.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, which includes that item as well as the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion carries unanimously. That takes care of consent. So regular agenda item 4, consideration of site improvement expenditures and amendment to the United Parcel Service lease. Mr. Toft?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I direct you to the map that's attached to the staff report that highlights sites B and C, shaded in green. This item pertains to site C. It's just 4.3 acres. It's the last remaining vacant site at the north terminal. You may recall we had a stockpile of dirt at that site that we relocated a year ago. And since then, we've been softly marketing the property. We've had a few proposals, none of which have come to fruition. UPS, one of our primary non-maritime tenants at the port, currently leases Site B immediately to the west of Site C. Their business is growing, and they have approached us looking to expand. They currently have 4 one-year option periods remaining on Site B. They've committed to exercising all of those options, as well as committing to at least 4 months per year at Site C. And together, those two commitments sum up to about $466,000. That's the revenue that we would use to fund the site improvements that we're requesting the commission to approve tonight. We're requesting an allocation of up to $300,000 for site improvements. That would include compacting, grading, graveling, fencing, dust control, fence screening, perhaps some lighting, and contingency as well. The second recommendation, we bid out the site preparation work, the grading, compacting, graveling. Ramcon Construction was the low bidder, so we're recommending the award of that portion of the site improvement to Ramcon. And finally, asking the commission to authorize the Port CEO to execute a lease amendment with UPS that, subject to the port attorney's approval, that would contractually obligate the revenues that I just described to fund the project.
All right. Are there,
Is this more than just truck parking?
No, it's a very simple yard lease for UPS trailer parking.
Commissioner Hanson?
Yeah, so we're just the economics of this. So rent over the next 4 years, which we're committed to, is about $466,000, and the cost to prepare the site's about $300. So we net $160, but that net should carry us through to the next years after the 4 years. Is that kind of the thought process?
Yeah, I mean, so the economics that we put in the report here are conservative. I believe, first of all, that UPS will commit to, they'll grow into the Site C and they'll use it for more than 4 months a year. And secondly, I think they'll go beyond 4 years, or if they don't, based on our experience leasing other sites at the port, I'm confident that we would replace UPS with another revenue-generating tenant. So the economics are a minimum here that we've indicated in the staff report.
And for the 8 months, that if UPS doesn't choose to go the full year, it would give us the opportunity to do seasonal leasing for other tenants.
So
So
at
it'd
least
be
we'll have
above
the
and beyond that
second
number.
curve then, which is an improvement over the next 4 years.
Right. Okay.
Is there a way to get UPS to make those improvements?
We could, but we would have to make an adjustment on the lease. So, I mean, they're not really in the business of doing site improvements, so it would be, I am talking to them about the lighting improvements. They are interested in adding, they use portable lighting currently at Site B. They're interested in putting some LED fixtures there that would reduce their costs and provide better illumination. So I think we are better suited to contracting with the main site improvement work. We have experience doing that. We have relationships with contractors already.
So we recoup our $300,000 in 1 year, 2 years' time?
About 3 years. 3 years, I think, worst case, if, as Aaron mentioned, if we do seasonal leasing and/or, as I mentioned, if UPS commits to more than 4 months out of the year on Site C, it would be closer to 1.5, 2 years.
All right, any other questions, comments? Seeing none? Sorry. All right. That's all you got, Rick? That's all you need?
That concludes my remarks.
All right. We're looking for a motion, some direction. All right, so we got a motion approved
I'll second.
with a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right. Item 5 is consideration of lease agreement with the City of West Sac for real estate, a real property at the North Terminal. That's also you, Rick.
Right. So again, I'm going to refer you to the map attachment to the staff report. This is a larger fold-out aerial photograph that shows the site. It's about 1 acre adjacent to the city's central water tank, which is adjacent to the North Terminal on Industrial Boulevard. The city is, I believe they've finalized their solar project. There's 4 sites in the city, including City Hall here, the central water tank, and 2 other sites. This site, the existing footprint of city-owned property around the water tank is insufficient, so they need additional property to site the solar panels. And the installation on this site would be elevated to allow for equipment parking underneath the panels. And so I can tell you, as the project manager for the city for the new corporation yard, I think this is a great site, not only for the solar panels, but as a satellite equipment storage yard that's very secure for sweeper truck, factory truck, have the kind of the expensive city equipment. So the financing for that solar project requires a property right, and so that's why we've proposed a formal 25-year lease to give the bank, the lender, the real estate security that they need. And so we've estimated the fair market value of the site. You can see it's got kind of a skinny appendage, which I excluded. That the total acreage is 1 acre, but I chopped off that and just ballparked 0.85 acres as the usable portion of the site at a monthly rent today starting at $1,250 a month. The second attachment to your staff report shows the 25-year cash flow. It's escalated by 2.5% a year, and then we discounted that at 5%. So the net present value gives us a value today for the lease of $271,000 and some change. And our recommendation to the commission tonight is that the value of that lease be subtracted from the debt that the port owes to the city as compensation for the property.
And I'll just add that lease amount, first of all, is consistent with other leases the port's done at the North Terminal. And really, we're trying to do a better job. In the past, the port and city have had informal real estate relationships on other property at the North Terminal. And given the new model at the port and the financial status of the port, we're trying to make sure that we account for all of our real estate, whether it's leasing to the city or another party. We want to document it and get value for it.
And I would just add finally that I think this is a good utilization. This is it's a site that's kind of isolated from the North Terminal by the railroad tracks. It does have value to the marketplace as a storage yard associated with the maintenance shop that we have just immediately to the north. So I think it's a good use for the site and a fair price. With that, I'll conclude my remarks.
Great. Are there any questions? No? All right.
Mr. Chair, if I could have Rick clarify, the city council would actually have to accept this value as well.
Right, so assuming the Port Commission approves the concept here tonight, the Port staff would draft a lease agreement, which would then have to be approved by the city council.
Understood. All right.
Yeah, so Rick, just, so basically you're creating a value by net present value of the lease stream over 25 years. That's not necessarily the value for a fee per.
Correct.
Right. So, one of our concerns is always when we're having, make sure we're doing it arm's length deals, and also how that impacts our other holdings in terms of value. So, and this wouldn't really affect value because it's not really a fee transfer.
Right.
Right, I think it's a fair deal for the port. So I can, enthusiastically recommend the income stream as your business manager at the port, and I think the city staff recognize the value that it's a fair price and it is an arm's length transaction.
Okay.
All right. No other questions? Looking for a motion.
I'll move the item.
I'll second.
So motion a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Item 6 is commission reports. Are there any reports? Port CEO report.
Thank you for attending the special meeting. We're scheduled to have the regular next meeting for the port be April 6th, right prior to the April 6th city council meeting.
Very good. All right. All right. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Motion to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.